What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. As you can see today, I have the 2021 Jaguar F-Type right behind me. Today we're going to check it out and see what updates Jaguar made. I know a lot of people are thinking I'm not a fan of the front end, I like the older one better, but today I'm going to show you in detail how this looks like, so we'll see at the end of the day what we really like. Enjoy the video. Thank you to Jaguar Land Rover of Calgary, Alberta for letting me borrow this vehicle. If you're interested in this F-Type or anything else on their extensive lot, the link to their website is right below that like button. So starting off with what is underneath the hood, like always, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 making 575 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. That's all mated through a 8-speed automatic and puts the power down through an all-wheel drive system. Now 0 to 60 is estimated to be about 3.5 to 3.7 seconds. Of course, gas isn't the best, but on the highway it's surprisingly pretty good. So if you're using this as a grand touring car, you might actually like it. Right, now moving on to the front end. Now obviously, as you can see, the front end has been completely revised. It is a 7-year-old car, and a lot of people really love the first generation pre-refresh design for this thing, but I'm not gonna lie, you guys, compared to the pre-refresh, it's looking way lower and wider and a more aggressive stance to the ground as well, in my opinion. And I just looked at the pre-refreshed face as well recently here. Of course, we have full LED headlights at the front, a fully blacked out grille, aggressive lower splitters. And at the end of the day, with the headlight design, they went from a vertical layout to a horizontal layout, and I think it looks just aggressive and mean, and just move out of the way when you see this behind you. So moving on to the side profile now. Of course, I think the side profile, first of all, looks really nice. It just reminds me of James Bond, to be honest, especially the side profile, the way the rear slopes down like that. And I think it's a beautiful design. Now, talking about the wheels, the front wheels are 20-inch wheels on 265 series tires, and the rears are a fat 305 series tires on the same 20s. We get nice red calipers, and the overall side profile, it just looks really nice. A little Jaguar venting that's on the side as well, along with the hood. I think it makes the car just stand out and look really, really nice. And I can't forget about those pop-out handles. So basically, whenever you're locked in, let me get the keys out here, the handles basically flush in, and when you are unlocking, they pop out. And they do have a fairly sturdy feel as well, so not like anything cheap or insecure. Okay, so moving on to the rear. Now the rear, they've made very little changes, as you can tell. One of my favorite parts is the thinning of the tail lights. They had more of a round shape before, and now the post refresh, they made them more edgy and more aggressive looking. And of course, they're going to be fully LED as well. The amazing rear end is really capped off by this aggressive looking diffuser in the back. And this quad exhaust, of course, it's R performed and tuned, so it looks really, really nice. And it doesn't just look nice, it sounds very nice too. So here, take a quick listen. Honestly speaking, everybody, I think the refreshes and updates that they made, they just made it look really, really nice. It's basically pretty much almost the exact same. It's just that front end that some of you are going to love or hate. But honestly, you'll get used to it. At first, I was like, what is this? But after being around it and in it and just spending some time with it, I think it looks really, really nice. And since we're at the back anyways, let me quickly open up this cargo area to show you how much space we have. We do get a power tailgate, which is awesome to see. You can open with your key fob or a button underneath the Jaguar logo. Once open, you have about 14 cubic feet of storage, and it's definitely usable. One funny thing I never knew was back here was the washer fluid top up, so the more you know. All right, so it's time to step inside. Of course, like I mentioned, the door handle pops up, and once you pull on it, we are greeted with this beautiful looking interior. All right, so starting off the door panels, we do have some pretty nice looking door panels, nice black materials with red stitching. We have the Meridian surround system. We can see, I wish that was kind of a bright aluminum kind of finish for the speaker cover grille. And then we could also have the door seat controls that are all labeled out here, so that's awesome to see. Especially in a coupe like this, it's nice that it's on the door and not beside the seat, because that would be hard to get to. I'm glad that it's not a matte finish in the back. I know it's a package, you can get a black package. I don't know why you would want to get that, but this one, it looks very, very nice the way it is. After that, we are going to move on to the seats. So I love the way these seats look. These are sport bucket seats. They're premium materials as well. I believe it's Windsor leather. I love the way the quilting is there at the top portions, the red stitching, the R logo, and the metal accent in the middle there. The seats are awesome. They feel really, really comfortable, and they hug you really nicely as well. They are cooled and heated seats, and they are not massaging seats though. So if you're looking for a massage, you're not going to get that, but you will be pretty comfortable and your body will be temperature controlled. Finally stepping inside. All right, so we are greeted with this nice gray trim everywhere. Now this is obviously a custom thing that you can change. It does feel very nice, a nice little texturized feel to it. Before we go on to the infotainment, let me start this car up. So I'm glad there's not too much glossy black. You only have this area where it's really glossy black. You see how that thing kind of comes up at the beginning as well. So talking about these HVAC controls, I'm really glad how they are knobs. Hashtag save the knobs, you know I gotta say it. Super easy to use. Quickly you're able to adjust anything that you want to do, and for the seat controls, to get it heated or cooled, all you do is just push down on here and you can rotate to see what you really want. So that's really nice, a quick little way to do it. I love the way that these controls are right over here, especially like this area, your hazard lights. You just push it down for it to come on, so that's very nice to see. You have your start stop button, same material down here. The 12 volt, your shifter knob area. This is the older shifter, but it feels very nice. You know, it feels good in the hands. It feels like a joystick, really. Your drive settings are over here, and I love the graphics. So when you basically select a dynamic mode, it'll change over here. And those graphics, I'll go away, there we go. And they look really, really nice. Even the transition is very nice. Out of any Jaguar Land Rover product, this is probably the best setup that they have going on. Anyways, when you move further down, your electronic parking brake, your different buttons for your traction control, your variable exhaust, the rear spoiler if you want to activate it or not, and the auto start. We also have a volume knob right here, a great place to have it. I really don't know what this area is for, maybe some change, like you would carry that once you're driving this thing. Nice red stitching everywhere over here. A grab handle that just feels really nice and meaty as well. When you move on to the cup holder area, you're going to see that you have some pretty decent size space cup holders, and they are pretty deep as well, so you can fit large drinks in there. When you move on to the center storage area, same nice red stitching everywhere as well. And you'll see that it's a pretty small storage area, but you do have some connectivity there in a 12 volts, so you know it's doable for sure. And then on top of that, you just have a little net over here, and that's kind of really about it. Aside from that, I mean, you have a pretty decent view out the back. It's not really too rough when you look out the back window. So yeah, let's move on to the infotainment. Let's take a look at this infotainment. Now it's not bad. I mean, this is a 2021, but it doesn't have the newer software that all the other, like the F-Pace has, so that's kind of an unfortunate thing, because the newer one is faster, so this one's gonna be a little bit laggy, but right now it's kind of moving pretty smoothly, to be honest with you. So you know, that's one good thing, obviously. The backup camera, decent quality as well. It looks much better in person, just the camera is always, you know, picking up a little less resolution there, so it does look pretty good in that sense. And overall, you know, it has navigation, it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and aside from that, you know, it has everything else that you would really use. This kind of lets you select the area of which your fans blow your air out of, so that's pretty nice. It's hot outside and your boy's making videos for you, your boy and Jimmy, so thank you to Jimmy for that. But aside from that, you know, the infotainment it's fairly usable, it's easy going. It's just could be snappier, but there's I believe over-the-air updates for this thing. But yeah, anyways, let me move on to the steering wheel now. So we're greeted by this nice perforated leather, stitched all around. The airbag cover is probably my least favorite part. This could be somewhat better. Unfortunately, it isn't, but it's still nice looking. I just wish it was quilted or something like the new Range Rover Velars or something like that, or even the Sports. You have a nice little R badge. Your aluminum shifters are really nice as well. And yeah, you know, the thing that I really like is the screen that's behind the steering wheel. So if you take a look at this, you have a 12.3-inch display, and it looks really, really nice. It's super sharp. Once again, let me change those car modes and just see even the transitions for different modes. Like, that is my favorite part. I think this car does it better than almost all of them out there. Like, this looks really nice, and the quality picture is really nice as well. Other than that, you know, it's super configurable. Like if you want your whole map showing, you could definitely do that. This one doesn't have any heads-up display, so that would have been nicer. But you know, aside from that, you know, there's not really too many issues with this thing. When you're driving it, it's a great grand touring car. You can drive around, and the exhaust sounds nice. So when you want to be a little bit more sporty, you could definitely do that as well. One thing I forgot to mention is basically the option that we have here of having a fixed glass panoramic roof. So this is the way it is. It's not openable. You can't open this or anything, but you can definitely cover it for those hot summer days. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's wrapping up the interior. You know, the last two cars I did are just two-seaters, so no really need to go anywhere else. But other than that, let's move on. All right, so there you have it. I showed you the inside, the outside. I let you listen to the exhaust note, so it sounds really beautiful. You know what, to be honest with you guys, the front end right now has definitely grown on me. I'm not sure about you guys. Definitely let me know in the comments if you enjoy this or the previous end. I like the style overall of the pre-refresh, but the way that this looks lower and wider when you have them standing right side by side, I think I would end up picking this one too. It looks nice and just aggressive, you know. So the last thing that we have left now is to go out for a drive, and you know what we usually do first, so let's get started. Think about the Jaguar F-Type R.
No comments.
Why?
Just because.
Why?
If people aren't sub to you.
Oof. Okay, so here we are in the Jaguar F-Type R, the best thing that we have now. The SVR unfortunately isn't here, but this is basically the replacement. I believe it has the same engine as the SVR as well, so that's one good thing, obviously. And as usual, we're going to start off with what we usually do here, which is the acceleration test. So let me switch it into dynamic mode. Are you all ready for this? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Oh my goodness. So that's a really aggressive pull. And like always, after that launch, we're just going to go to normal driving mode here. So, you know, one thing I definitely noticed, I said this in my last video too, but with cars like this, obviously you're going to feel a lot of road bumps and noises. So when I was driving on the highway, for a premium car, you kind of expect to hear a little less when you are driving these things, but you have quite a bit of road noise when you are driving, especially on the highways. But normally around town, like, it's pretty quiet in here. You know, I'm going at like 50 kilometers an hour right now. So when you're driving it around town normally, like, it's a pretty normal, easygoing car, you know. Like, this one doesn't really attract attention either, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's got a pretty exotic car look, and it looks very nice. And but the thing is, like, a lot of people they just kind of, you know, it just stealthily goes by them because they don't really know what it is. And it's, you know, a Jaguar on top of that, so it's more kind of rare to see. The Corvette I was driving in the last video, that somehow seemed to get a lot more reactions from people compared to something like this would have. But overall, you know, like, it's still a super fun car. Like, you can hear the exhaust, right? And I'm not even in dynamic mode, and the exhaust valves aren't even turned on. Now, gas-wise, it's not too bad. It's a supercharged V8, so you could only expect so much. One thing that you do notice and is that supercharger whine, which I absolutely love. I'm not sure about you guys, but on top of that, just the comfortness of the seat, it really sculpts you in very nicely, so it feels very nice. And on top of that, it's just a good feeling vehicle. You feel very comfortable in here, and all the materials that whenever you're touching the steering wheel or the side armrest or the center armrest, it feels very nice, and you just feel good whenever you're driving this. And right now maybe it's like 28 degrees now, so we'll open this up, for example, and it's just it feels very nice whenever you can just look up here and you know, you see the sky. And it is tinted, of course, but obviously it's going to let in heat on those summer days. But when you're driving it though, it's super fun to drive, and you know, it's easy to maneuver. One of the issues I would say is probably the same issue that most cars in this category have, which is your blind spots. Now the driver's side, it's okay, you know, once you kind of get used to looking your blind spots, like basically. So you gotta like do this. It's not bad. And then the passenger side, thankfully, is much easier to do just because you have that slanted rear window. So whenever I gotta look, you can see pretty clearly, which is awesome to see. But aside from that, you know, if you're just gonna use this to cruise around town, your summer car, I think you're really not gonna have any issues with it. Aside from that though, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about this Jaguar F-Type R, and I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.